Is it all working? Is it actually on? Yeah. Fantastic. Hello, everybody, and cheers. Today we're playing some Vellum. It's a really cool roguelike I discovered a couple weeks back. I've already been really into it. I just kind of play it, and then I put on a little bit of background noise while I'm playing it. Oop, that is not correct. I figure I've been in a real dinosaur mood, you know, ever since I went and watched, That's enough out of you. Ever since I went and saw the new Jurassic World on opening day. By the way, awful movie. Don't go see it. Wait till it hits D&D. Wait till it hits DVD or streaming or whatever. But only get it through a streaming site or, you know, pirate it. You know, just pirate it. It's a shame for anyone's money to be going towards that movie. But yeah. Just gonna put this little thing on. Keep it a bit lower in volume.
How good this movie is? Yes. Jurassic Park 3 is fittingly the third Jurassic movie made by Universal for their franchise.
Oh, that's...
The one that divides the community for daring to kill a T-Rex, and the one that put the series on hiatus for many years.
Okay, so already, this guy is full of shit, because people didn't hate it because they dared to kill a T-Rex. They hated it because it had, like, compared to the previous two, it was a joke. Like, just the storyline, the characters they got some A-list actors in it, but they all just dropped the ball at just being, like, any kind of interesting. They even got Alan Grant. Like, 2 didn't have Alan Grant in it. Oh, well. Regardless, though, don't get me wrong. I had this on DVD growing up. I watched it so many times. Didn't make it a good movie, though.
Why do I love this movie so
anyway,
much?
let's hear why this guy thinks this is good while I play this game. I've already, see how my face is cracked and my body's cracked? I've already got, ascended twice, basically. I've gone through this entire thing, and then you ascend and reset. Yeah. Super easy. Oops. I spent 2, no! But anyway, teal, most broken, most powerful. It sets your health down to minimum. Normally you have 100 health, but 100 or is it 60? But regardless, you start with 5 health, but your barrier is so gigantic and you generate barrier through everything else. There's just no comparison. So that's the basic gameplay of this game. You get a type of ink that changes your... I'm actually going to pause that for just 1 second while I go through and kind of explain a little bit more about this game, in case you haven't played it before. You start off with these 2 inks, which is basically crit and poison. They are blue is the worst out of all the colors. It does the least. It's very hard to, like, basically it says you apply blot, but you apply so little blot that it doesn't end up dealing, like, decent enough damage. There's even, like, you can get abilities to where each tick of it gives you shield. But that's either bugged or it really doesn't proc as often as you think. It's bad. This is just crit. Every 4th main attack, you crit. Whenever you use your signature mana, you crit. It just... all the perks that increase your crit abilities is really good. Green ink, you get a minion. Not as strong as orange ink. I feel like orange ink is just straight up better. Red ink is like... basically, red ink is what is like a wannabe teal ink. Because red ink gets rid of your barrier and increases your max health. And then you like get these little threads that you apply to every enemy that you hit that leech health back onto you. But it's so little healing that you need to have a giant cluster of enemies in order to, like, heal in any decent way. Whereas teal, you just kind of generate barrier and generate barrier and generate barrier, and you don't really care. You can focus on one giant enemy because there's a boss at the end of every run. Pink ink, you kind of just store damage, and then you activate it and explode it. Super easy, super simple. There's really no... it's super simple, basically. It's a boss killer, but other than that, you're never dealing damage faster than you would if you were just attacking normally. Orange ink, you get a turret fires, global range. You generate survey, which is basically an extra bit of points that you can put into the turret, and it boosts its attack. Teal ink is the one I really use when trying to run high levels, because no matter what you're using, you're going to generate a ton of barrier, and then you also generate plot armor. And basically your ult is you fire your plot armor off. It reduces your barrier, but then you just regain it all. One of the smaller things in there is you get these inscriptions where you're basically just little buffs. I put this on the teal ink because normally the teal ink sets your HP to 5. This sets it to 25, so that if your barrier does end up breaking, you're not just instantly dead. And then you get each different ink has its own unique abilities. This is just the best currently until I unlock the last bit. Super easy. Your loadouts. Every time you ascend, it relocks everything. That's why so many things are locked. You have your generator, which is your primary. This generates mana points. And then after you generate basically a mana point, it will then turn into your color of ink. And whenever you use mana that's your ink color, you get an extra effect. Then you've got the spenders. These are what you spend your mana points with. This one, I like it with the sword because it feels good, but objectively, Blossom is just a lot stronger. But I like Shield because Captain America. Then you also get a movement spell. You start with Dash. Ghost Ride is the best because it's just like iframes. It's just invincibility, plus it frees up your movement. Vault is necessary for doing some of the challenges in the game. Also, Vault has a unique perk that you can pick up where you bounce on enemies every time you come down, and it's just fun. If you get certain perks, you can basically get it to where you hit Vault, you just start bouncing on enemies, and each time you bounce, you create a Nova. So you're just boom, 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 boom. You don't even have to cast your other abilities. But I use Ghost Right because it's the best. Also, you get a quest board, suggested reading. Each time you do a world, this resets. Basically, it gives you one of any type of the spells and one specific level to do. Quests, I've got... Oh, hey, I actually did a couple of these. Nice. Torn, illegible. It's super easy, but I don't... I'm not going to do illegible because illegible is just a boss rush. It's super simple, super easy, but I don't really want to do it. So I'm just going to do this one, Tortoise and Hare. So each of these books basically gives you a method of play. For example, this one you get stacks when you beat enemies. Those stacks convert into different buffs. This one you get Hare. It says it right here: Hare while moving, Tortoise while stationary. It's super easy. This one turns your game into a fucking rhythm game. This one, like I said, illegible is just a boss rush. Anyway, so you go to prepare it. Then after you prepare, you get to bind it, which binds are just modifiers that increase your reward, plus they increase the power of the enemies. You get a target each time. Initially, it starts 1, 2, 3, 4, and just goes like that. But after you ascend, it jumps. Instead, so you don't have to do 20 different runs in order to get binding level 20, which is the max. You instead do 1. Plus, if you overcap, you don't get as much reward, but you can just advance faster. Right now, I'm at the higher level, 15. My previous one, I just used 21 because I was screw it, don't care. Should I though? No. Yeah, why not? So basically, I'm getting +3 attunement, so it's going to jump from 15 to 18. And you notice, it has this reward bonus cap. It will never... Basically, when you're at binding level 20, it's 600% reward, 200% power. Anytime before that, it caps your rewards. That's basically it. You also get little pages. Oh, we're going to start this, and you'll get the hang of it as you see.
Of the Lost World, when dinosaurs roamed America, the Blue Planet, Monsters Inc., Spirited Away,
Alright, you're going to have to...
And of course, the greatest.
It's a mumbler, baby.
The Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring.
This is a trap. You go so far, you end up losing your enemies. This is a special reward for the dog one. It's really nice.
Anyway, I'll have to talk about my obsession with Lord of the Rings.
Teal is unique in that its ultimate ability on Q is the... what's the best way to put it? It's super low cooldown.
Rainforest seen on Nublar, unlike the coastal redwoods of Sorna in 1997, which can only be assumed to be another part of the island. Wait,
so basically the sword creates barrier as you hit, so you get barrier from your ink passive plus. And then I hit Q and I go ba ba ba. See, you just spray your armor everywhere. And then you rebuild your armor. Super simple, easy gameplay loop. That's why I watch YouTube videos.
First classic movie not to be directed by Spielberg. Also the first one in the franchise to have music done exclusively.
Turns out, not directing by Spielberg is a terrible idea.
Composed by Don Davis, who also did the music for The Matrix.
Reduce this.
I'll talk more about the music in depth later. It's a very fast-paced action movie with barely any slowing down. Since it's
with how dry you're speaking, I can definitely tell why you liked it.
Well, for me anyway. The story revolves around a young boy and his mum's current partner going missing on Site B, aka Isla Sorna.
Mini-boss.
Since the San Diego incident in 1997, the
because these morons were like, yeah, let's go around this island filled with things that can kill us horribly.
Such as the dinosaur,
but hey, you gotta have the MacGuffin. In this case, the child MacGuffin.
How cool that title shot is, with the claws ripping through the screen before the movie starts. It works in so many ways. Looking awesome, symbolising the Roman numerals of 3, and the 3-clawed hand of a raptor, or potentially a Spinosaurus. So Eric and Ben are the 2 lunatics who've been conned into doing this, and of course, they get into a slight situation. The crew of the boat mysteriously vanishes in some fog, which I've always assumed was the Spinosaurus is doing, seeing how it can actually swim, and is capable of doing that. But actually it's meant to be the Pteranodons? Even though they're still locked in their cage at this point.
That's weird.
In any case, Ben and Eric escape the boat wreck.
No way it's supposed to be the Pteranodons. It's gotta be like someone writing a book. Basically they put out like book material after some of these books, and the people who write the books are... Oh god, the fucking talking raptor nightmare. So stupid.
Grant was essentially the main character of the first film, and Malcolm got his own story with The Lost World. So here we are with Grant again, who gets his own standalone story too. He effortlessly carries the film, and if they'd gone with someone who wasn't from the original film, or its sequel, this probably would have been much less memorable.
It already really isn't.
Much more world-weary in this entry, however. His view of Jurassic Park as a concept had been more to the tune of it just being another theme park with monsters. And so, he's returned to paleontology and digging up real dinosaurs. Or as close to real as you get in this franchise, with Velociraptor remains being found in Montana. This is the European Rougelike from walking dinosaurs all over again.
By the way, I now get 3 dogs.
I like that his introduction into the film is just him being a big kid, and playing with some vintage Carnegie dinosaur models. Also, his attitude towards children has vastly improved through the bonding of Lex and Tim in 1993. Back then, you'd never see him be friendly to them.
Yes, the vignettes. Basically, every 2 levels, you get a vignette. Well, you get one immediately at start.
Try to show a little respect.
Once again, Grant is bribed into going to another island with Isla in the title. Sensing a pattern here, what's more impressive is that he's managed to block out any mention of Sorna with regards to there being dinosaurs there. Huh. This is something I wanted to be mentioned in Dominion, where he cracks a joke about always being bribed into being trapped on an island full of dinosaurs. But this never happened.
I'm always moving. Never stop. Never surrender. Gotta go fast.
Okay, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way now. Or rather, the raptor on the plane.
Such a stupid... Like, this was before a whole bunch of, like, the Marvel shit, but, like, nowadays, this is some shit that Marvel would do. Also, it always tells you what type of boss you're gonna be facing.
Alan.
Ready, bitch?
This whole scene is supposed to be a dramatic and scary scene, but of course it doesn't come across this way.
Comes across
It's
as
often
silly
cited as the lowest point of the
bullshit.
franchise, even lower than Kelly's gymnastics from The Lost World. In reality, it's almost a payoff.
Which was also a very,
minor
very
moment when
dumb
Grant is in
thing.
Ellie's kitchen trying to get him a call to
I
say
wish
Alan,
2 had been...
only for it not to, and him to
like,
get this horrific
more
dream
book.
later during the flight to Sauna. This dream is obviously joked about a lot, but it's supposed to be like Grant having some kind of raptor-related PTSD, which is
Clearly he does.
They're not really touched on again.
And it's good that he
It would be
does.
interesting to explore his
Because
psyche
if
a
you
bit
got
more.
hunted by those things,
Now, the reason the
you'd
raptor
have
appears in the male
PTSD.
variant
I don't
of
care
this
how
movie
brave you
and
are.
not a 1993 female is the fact that these new raptors were essentially going to be retconned into being the only version we've ever seen. Hence the continuity break here, as Grant hasn't encountered these ones yet. Strange choice by the filmmakers, but not the end of the world either way.
Making this movie
Ellie
was a
Degler-
strange choice
yep,
by
Degler,
filmmakers.
not Sattler. She married someone other than Grant. That aside for a second, it's
Very
nice to see
stupid.
another OG
Glad they
character
got
making
their
a return.
get back
And her and Alan
in
being
the
such good friends again is nice.
what was it?
You also just kind of want them to get together, but I guess Mark slid into her DMs.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Mark
hi, Mark.
Degler is an odd character, not really having any bearing on the plot whatsoever.
And
He's
then
kind of
gets
there as
retconned
a-
out of not retconned, but
It's one
gets
of the few things that I think
divorced
we can
off
do right,
screen.
Resolve this
Beauty.
issue on screen. Yes, obviously it was only done in that movie so that Alan and Ellie could get together finally, but I really appreciate the inclusion, which means that at least one small aspect of this movie was acknowledged in the final entry. That actually made me excited to see it, as I saw that scene before the full movie, and I was hoping for other references and anything in Dominion, but alas, it was not to
what
be.
the dad from Shameless. Did you want him to come back?
Okay, I'll stop ranting about that.
Get
for
them,
now.
my doggos.
I think the inclusion of Mark and Ellie being together as a couple definitely helped putting fans off this one, as many enjoyers of this franchise would have liked Alan to be with Ellie instead,
Yep.
as implied by the end of Jurassic Park, but not explicitly said. Back to Ellie. So she
But
got,
they couldn't
Alan
afford
must be
Laura
really
Dern
pissed
for a
off
whole
and
movie,
sent
so,
out to rescue
you know.
her from her son saying, and Grant shouting. That's a strong connection to her friend. With her dramatic walk away, she's out of the film, which is a shame, seeing how she doesn't appear on the beach at the end. Together, Mark and Ellie have 2 children, their oldest being...
Charlie!
Charlie has obviously been nurtured to some extent by Grant, with his love
Deep
of
cut.
dinosaurs, which is a nice touch. He has one
Candy
of them
Mountain
later when he receives
Charlie.
a phone call from Grant trying to reach Ellie, after dancing to Barney for a bit. Yeah, those scenes intercut with the terror and sheer power of the Spinosaurus ripping open the boat should have been removed.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you Billy. What's wrong, Billy?
This guy really should have been the antagonist of the movie, seeing how that apart from the dinosaurs there isn't one. Another thing which fans like to bash. Then again, this movie is so simple and linear that it doesn't really need a villain with how it is. But if it did, Billy
Basically,
Brennan would be
Billy's
the
a
perfect candidate.
fucking moron.
What if after the moment Grant discovers the eggs in Billy's bag, that he not only reveals that he stole them, but that also he's working for Biosyn and trying to get them back from none other than Lewis Dodson. You know.
Dodson.
Dotson! We got Dotson here!
Then the tension between
Newman.
Alan and Billy would be more dramatic, and there could even be more argumentative dialogue, with
That
Billy
would
trying
have
to
been
argue that
great.
these species would be better off being shown than simply being locked away.
It's not even like a hindsight 2020
The ultimate
observation.
conclusion of
That's
this
just
is
a,
still
like,
played the
this
same
would have
with
been a
the
good
birdcage,
idea.
with Billy redeeming himself by saving Eric and ditching the eggs with Grant, so that the raptor scene at the end could still happen. I would
Should have
preferred
just,
Billy
like,
died here,
left him
because he
dead.
serves a full character journey, and it makes sense. As it stands, it's still nice to see that he survived, somehow. Grant
He
gets
shouldn't
his
have.
iconic cat back. Shame Dominion ruined that too. Also, another lucky pack? In this film, however, it's less lucky for Billy. Overall, Billy's a decent character, but not too special. Billy is one of Grant's closer friends, and a budding paleontologist who utilizes new techniques to better understand extinct animals. This is evident with
Get
the
'em, boys.
patented raptor resonating chamber.
Run their
Obviously, Billy
foams!
isn't seen or mentioned in 1993, but he is naturally aware of what transpired on Newbar. He also seems to lowball Kirby and pushes for Grant to go with them to Sauna. Speaking of our favourite not quite enterprise-dealing businessman, William H.
The
Mason
dad
did an
from
excellent job
Shape.
playing this quirky paint and tile salesman.
He's not quirky, he's annoying,
Dinosaurs
and
with no knowledge
kind
of
of a
them.
bitch,
I would
honestly.
definitely employ his services, however. He's got some emotional moments and good comedic timing, and iconic lines.
Okay, fine. Go ahead and scream. And then when that tricycloplot attacks you, don't come crying to me.
Another moment is when Kirby is relieving himself upstream, whilst Billy is drinking further down. Yeah. Other than Grant and Ellie Degler, Mr. Kirby is one of the few characters holding this band together.
Nope, it's
He's
Sattler.
genuinely a good actor.
Fucking Mark doesn't exist!
Franchise, and albeit its supposed weakest outing. But Kirby doesn't get it easy, and he's not the brightest in terms of the dinosaurs, but then who can blame him? He does, however, get punched by Grant for lying to him, or at least he didn't get eaten by the tricyclopods, unlike Nash. He insists on bringing Grant to the island to help look for his son Eric, with his divorced wife, Amanda. Okay, you knew this one was coming. Yeah, I agree with you lot, she is incredibly annoying.
They're
But
both
that's not to do
annoying,
with the actor
actually.
Tia Leone, who's only doing what's in the script. As it stands,
Well,
Amanda
the script
Kirby
was
is one of
awful.
the worst characters ever, but she does have some redeeming moments, however. Her love for her family and protection, and ultimately her big moment at the end where she pretends.
We
to
already
love
had
Sarah.
they're protecting
This
their
is what she
baby.
needs to do.
So am I moment. We don't need that in a third. Oh, no PTSD from that.
This is Kirby. The phone's working.
What the fuck?
Seeing her current relationship guy, yeah, that's what I'm calling it, as a dead, desecrated and rotting corpse can't be the nicest thing to experience. So her reaction is perfectly valid, honestly.
Quiet.
Weird how Eric managed to escape, yet Ben instantly died somehow. I can only imagine that he got tangled in the parasailing equipment and got swarmed by compies, seeing how his skeleton is still left where he died.
No, not compies.
Oh, not yet.
I'd more go like, because he's not like,
Not much to say about this guy. He isn't
what
a
is
major
it?
player and just
He's
died
not like
on screen
dismembered or
ridiculously,
anything.
So I have nothing to say.
so
Only that
more
having
likely
managed
his
to
neck
do it
broke
all.
on like
Now we
impact.
get to... Sorry, didn't quite catch that name. What's this kid called?
Eric! 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 Eric!
The compulsory divorcee kid of the franchise, yet he's actually quite a compelling character. I've always liked his inclusion, and his scenes with Grant are nice to watch, since Grant is much more tolerant of him from the get-go, having had some experience with surviving dinosaur-filled islands with children. Also in particular, the moment when they joke about Ian Malcolm's book is quite funny. Eric seems pretty resourceful for a kid of 10 years old, as Kirby says as well, even going so far as to procure
T-Rex. P. How'd you get it?
You don't want to know.
Seriously though,
Just a note for anyone thinking of picking up this game, each vignette has a little bit of a secret. This vignette's kind of quote-unquote secret is that whichever thing you investigate relates to an enemy type, like this is the Ravings, they're the animals, the mages, the tangents, and the splices, the warriors. I'm going to be going against a, if you look at here, a Raving boss, so I want to pick the Raving. And this will always give you clarity or the equivalent for whichever enemy type you pick. I didn't realize that at first. It took me a couple times. Also, just want to show y'all the secret. Super duper secret. Oh, fuck. Edit. Oh. Platform is a little bit weird sometimes. That's just, you get a bonus. Anyway.
how did he get it? After evading compies and
I
hiding in
don't
an
really
upturned
want to
cave,
know how he got it.
Alan and Eric
honestly.
reunite with the others, and I thought there weren't any fences on the island.
Without fences, without boundaries, without constraining technology.
So maybe the kid is the answer to fix a divorce. The Kirbys all seem happy with each other, and the level of cheesiness is almost too much, but it's sweet, and a nice way to end the movie. We also start the movie with Eric, and his accompanying supposedly responsible adult Ben Hildebrand. Hey, you knew this was dangerous.
This whole operation was your idea.
I say, let him crash.
Moving on to the disposables, Nash, Cooper, and Udesky.
Dude, they
Nash and
die
Cooper
so
go together as
fast.
minor characters that don't do anything except anger the Spinosaurus and kickstart the adventure. Okay, maybe they are important for this story then.
No, they aren't.
They're only there
No,
to
they
serve
fucking
the
aren't.
Spino fodder.
No, they
The
aren't.
basis that
The
black guys are the only
Spino
human
could have
casualties in
just
the movie.
attacked the plane.
They're both just pilots stroke not really mercenaries in this movie who get dispatched very quickly. Cooper can naturally outrun a plane taking off, obviously, only to be eaten by a giant theropod, and a terrible liar. That's what you get for punching Grant.
No.
Eaten by a giant theropod.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Terrible liar.
Look at this idiot! He's going for some Agent Smith, but that hairline is fighting him so hard.
That's what you get.
He looks like the nostalgia critics, like porno. What is it? He did like this,
Wait, how did Paul manage to hide
like
these
testosterone
figures?
commercial parody.
He doesn't
Oh
really
my
have to
god.
hide it. Speaking
Okay,
of
never
Paul,
take anything that
Udesky,
drains your mana.
All
Just
he
saying.
did was take a wrong turn and become wrapped to lunch. He mocks the final character death in the film, and it's quite graphic how he dies, with being immobilized and then set as a trap before having his neck snapped. Yeah, the Kirby's aren't going to forget that.
Was it snap,
At least
or did he
managed to
just
survive
like?
a bit longer than his other two comrades. He's also got some good comedic timing, and another character who really has no clue what he's doing.
Fuck you.
Grant must look at these people and go.
Tourists.
Now let's move on to talking about the dinosaurs. The designs of the dinosaurs
I got
in
it.
this movie are
I
the
got
best
it.
in the
Yep,
franchise.
yep.
End of story. Even the species that get less than a minute of screen time are treated to an amazing and intricate color palette and fit so nicely into
Nope.
the already established designs
Nope.
from the previous two
Nope.
films. Species like the Corythosaurus and Ceratosaurus get these beautiful colors and are so underused within the franchise. Almost every herbivorous species in Jurassic World is just blue or grey, and they're given way too much screen time to show off how ugly they are. Can they not do something to make them more unique? Even reoccurring species like the Ceratosaurus and Camp Cretaceous gets the dullification treatment and becomes a single monotone colour. Where's the
Well,
red, white and black markings?
The redhead one was based
One
off a
was iffy,
toy
however,
that they
just being a
released
repurposed T-Rex
that
model,
wasn't
as
released
far as I can
alongside
tell.
any,
But
or it
colours
was,
make
I
up
think,
for it
released
in
alongside the
Jurassic Park 3.
second movie?
Also, congrats Camp Cretaceous for making sure a Ceratosaurus dies in the Jurassic franchise. That's definitely not a hallmark of a lot of paleodocs.
Well, it... What? Ceratosaurus doesn't die. It literally gets up.
Unleashes his rage on the wounded
You
rival.
didn't watch...
Okay, also, what
Fallen
happened to the
Kingdom,
Triceratops
did you?
in this film? Like, what is wrong with it? It's so long. Fortunately, you don't see it much. The Parasaurolophus, on the other hand, only appears to now have a green tint over the otherwise brown and orange that it usually has. Stegosaurus also remains unchanged from its last appearance, but maybe it's a bit more green. All nice to see such a myriad of herbivorous species
Aw,
together.
man.
It's also nice to see
kinda
the
sucks.
Parasaurolophus and Corythosaurus
It
in a
seems
mixed
like they
herd.
patched it. You don't get
Even if
4
that one
doggos
Corythosaurus
anymore.
gets shoved
Just
out of
2
the way
really good
way
ones.
Too aggressively.
Kinda sucks.
What did it do wrong? Ankylosaurus is a nice and welcome addition to the franchise, with some gorgeous reds and blacks for the colours. And even though it doesn't do a lot, it's good to see them as another iconic dinosaur species added to the roster. So the Brachiosaurus design in this movie is the one that a lot of people seem
What
to
were you
dislike.
saying
I
about the
personally don't see
coloration?
that, and I really like it for its out there colour scheme of mottled greens and browns.
That
and
definitely,
lovely red
like,
crest. Something I
doesn't-
didn't even realise until recently is that its head shape is a different shape to the one from Jurassic Park. Also, the ones you see are enormous. Just a shame that the Mamenchisaurus didn't reappear, and still hasn't. It was so fleeting in the Lost World, like the Corythosaurus or Ceratosaurus in this one, but would have been a perfect candidate to bring back, even just for another cameo role. The Compsognathus do make an appearance, but only in a small cameo, and it would have
Yeah,
been cool
good.
to see them
They
take
already
on
got
something
their
again like
moment
Deep
in
Star.
2.
Here
I don't
they're
know why
seen
they would
hunting
need
insects, which
another,
is a cool
like,
bit of behavior.
do the
Much
same
more how their
thing.
actual real-life counterparts probably would
That's
have
what
done.
the Jurassic World
The only
movies
real
kind
kind
of
of species
suffered
from the other two
from.
films that
Each
doesn't
one
make
kind
an
of felt
appearance in
really
this one
samey.
is the Gallimimus. For unknown reasons, it's just not there.
Or
Doesn't
no,
matter
not
too
Jurassic
much.
World.
Also,
Uh,
there's no Pachycephalosaurus.
No, yeah. The Jurassic World 1 felt like Jurassic Park 1, which I get. That makes sense. You're introducing a
Raptors.
whole new,
Well,
like,
West
generation to this
They're quite
franchise.
simply the
Cool.
best movie raptor designs ever
But
made.
when you go into 2 and you go for a darker, more closed-in, dinosaurs are on the mainland
These
sort of
raptors are
thing,
shown to be the most clever. Sorry, the big
you're
one,
kind of
you're
just
not the
being
most clever
unoriginal
girl.
at that point.
The alpha female is. Whereas the raptors in the other movies are essentially just after the humans for a...
It was one of my biggest problems with this movie, because the raptors they are bloodthirsty in every other Jurassic Park anything. They will murder everyone. But in this one, they just don't, and there's no reason for it. Like, they should have killed all of the characters at the end of the movie. Because they had their eggs, they got the eggs back. They should have... Any of the other versions would have just murdered them. Like, hardcore, easy. But they didn't do it because plot armor, obviously. But still. So dumb. Need to check this out every so often.
quick snack.
Also,
These
they just
raptors
kind of
actually
look
pursue
stupid.
the humans for their eggs. They're not the bad guys. They just want their children back, and it's a good conflict.
No, they're...
I love how bird-like
They're
they
bad
are in
guys.
appearance. Only in subtle ways, these variants are built on the original design, and elongated the skull to add the extra set of crests, have pupils instead of slits in their eyes, which only adds to the sense of intelligence and scariness. And the males, of course, have their iconic set of quills coming out of their head.
It's so dumb
The colours
looking.
are so nice and unique.
Hey, look at my mohawk, boys!
Recently, where a lot of people enjoy their design. Who can blame them? The females too are equally as nice to look at, and possibly more creepy with their red eye spots and yellow eyes. They are shown to be intelligent by having a complex communication system, which is one of the running plot threads of the movie. And I love that they're just not mindless killing machines. Also the subtle way the alpha female calls back one of the males at the end of the movie, after Grant uses the resonating chamber. That's a nice touch. The chamber itself, with the simple blow into it, seems to agitate the raptors.
Oh,
until
fuck you.
Grant changes it to mimic the sounds of the raptors, which scares them off. Coupled with the helicopter...
No, it doesn't scare them off.
We also got very close to...
They all go like, what the heck is that? But they stay there until they hear the helicopter. That's what scares them off. Did you even watch this movie before you created this?
Burning passion.
Like...
But that aside, wouldn't it have been so cool to have seen the JP3 inspired design instead? They're so much cooler. So what you
Hate
like
this
about
enemy
the
type.
raptor pretending to be in formaldehyde, but I find it creepy and only adds to their supreme intelligence. Plus the fact that it tries
Yeah,
to
that was pretty
being a
decent,
case
like-
of the claustrophobic embryonics lab.
Oh, their smart movement.
Suka minus. Snow.
Think bigger.
Baryonyx.
Not with that sail. Spinosaurus aegypticus.
Spinosaurus is my favourite dinosaur because of this movie. Yes, obviously I know this one isn't particularly accurate, but it's probably my favourite dinosaur out of the whole franchise anyway.
It became a lot
Just for the
of
single
people's favorite
appearance.
dinosaur after this movie.
It's so imposing and threatening. And yes, of course the T-Rex in the other movies do their job, and they are fantastic in their own right. I love the buck from The Lost World, and the whole story
Really
dynamic
good.
with the baby is brilliant stuff. But are we talking about the arch rival here to the T-Rex, or how it's become known from this movie? So many giant theropod conflicts are because of this movie's infamous battle with these two, which we'll get to in a bit. If we stay talking about just the
Not
Spino for a minute,
bad.
can
Like,
we
you're
bring
trying
up its
to...
iconic roar?
Like, clearly they were trying to...
Yeah, that one isn't present in Jurassic World Evolution or Camp Cretaceous. Why is that? Why is such an iconic dinosaur in those games and shows not allowed to have its proper roar? Did Universal
Because it's
lose the
not a
file?
proper war. It's a
This makes me
shitty,
angry,
like,
perhaps I
B-movie,
need to be.
like,
Well,
awful version
never
of
mind just
Jurassic
the roar
Park.
it has, which is easily as great as
Like,
the T-Rex
the-
and Raptor sounds. Just
This
admire its amazing
3
colours
is
and
forgotten
fantastic
for a
on-screen
reason.
presence. I love this dinosaur. Seeing it in the water during the boat scene is really cool too, because it's almost exhibiting real-life behaviour there. But that fire sure spooked it though, as it retreats, never to be seen again, in that capacity anyway. The T-Rex is only seen in one small scene near the beginning of the movie, but that's only because it had so much screen time in the last two, and we need more of that
Yeah,
snowback beauty over
that's
here.
actually a very fair point. That is a very fair point. Like, that T-Rex has been the big bad for the last 2 movies. Bringing in the Spinosaurus is a brilliant idea. What you don't need to do is make them throw down just to prove that the Spinosaurus is stronger. especially like how they did it, because it was like, what, 30 seconds of fighting, and it was a very, very dumb, like, close-ups of hand puppets, then wide shots of really badly animated CGI.
It uses the same model as the buck from The Lost World, except with a more vibrant green coloration, and it's smaller. It's seen here feeding off a dead carcass, which is meant to showcase Jack Horner's T-Rex scavenger theory, which he still pushes for to this day. Basically, there's no way it was just a scavenger.
Jack Horner?
He was definitely an active hunter. There is irrefutable proof to this, and has been for a long time. Just stop it, Jack. Anyway, it doesn't come across like this much at all.
I always thought that was something that it had just killed.
He still has contributed a lot to the world of paleontology. He was the one who suggested Spinosaurus for this movie, which was originally going to be baryonyx, interestingly, and there's even some old logos showing this idea. The T-Rex chases the others. See, he is an active predator, after they disobey Grant's instructions of staying still. Yeah, let's just ignore the only qualified dinosaur expert we blackmailed into coming here with us.
It actually just increases the rarity of what you get.
Now we come to a nice little inconsequential scene which has never been talked about endlessly. Okay, let's talk about that controversial T-Rex versus Spino battle. Firstly,
the really bad one?
Say, this is probably my favourite scene in the entire film, no joke. I love watching this, and usually will be right to see it again just to revel in how awesome it is. It's so beautifully animated, and the sounds and how the characters all escape.
It really isn't.
Alan getting his own roar while stuck between those two trees is quite funny. And that little claw flick that the Spinosaurus does when it brings down the Rex. So cool. Fun fact, the animatronic Spinosaurus they used actually destroyed the animatronic T-Rex during filming, hence why most of the battle is in CGI. And one of the most satisfying sounds here coming up. Let's hear that again. And finally, the triumphant roar from the Spino. I could watch that scene over and over, and I probably will. It was definitely something original. As no
you gonna bring up how it cuts directly to Mr. Kirby getting punched in the face?
Now it seems to be
I always want to say Jack Kirby.
It was done here first, and is over way too quickly.
Jack Kirby, Time Warrior. If you know, you know. And you're also probably old.
Like this battle is that it kills the T-Rex. Oh no! But like, so what?
See, that's how I know you're full of shit, because you think that's what people dislike about it.
Can never be beaten. People may think that that's their favorite dinosaur, which is fair enough.
People may think that, God, this guy's fucking douche.
Hell, I love the moment when it dies, because the Spinosaurus is just so awesome.
It's a birdcage.
One of the favourite scenes among fans, the best pterosaur
scene in
the franchise.
Just gonna talk shit and then move on?
Fog and doom-laden drums is so spooky, and that shot of the Pteranodon emerging from the gloom is really creepy. Pterosaurs in general are very creepy looking animals anyway, and these hybrids with teeth are definitely that. I also love that most of the fog begins to clear once they all start flapping their wings. Fans have been waiting for the pterosaur scene ever since it was written in the original book, so it's great to have that appear in this one. Their tenacious aggression and determination is scary because they really don't have many other choices in the way of food. I can't imagine the local fish population in the river sustaining them very well. Also, who's that skull from? I can't tell if those babies are terrifying or terribly cute. Also, the sounds and calls of the adults are a mixture of ravens and something else.
I mean,
but I think they sound brilliant.
Earlier you said that the pterosaurs are what?
Set up as being incredibly aggressive and dangerous, but then mirror the pelicans in the first one at the end by flying away peacefully. Even so, that's a brilliant ending. All of these designs have such
holy crap
colours, the most dazzling of all the designs in the franchise, and so unique. That's why I love them. A rather overlooked, severely underrated aspect of this movie is its amazing musical score, which was composed by Don Davis, who created a lot of original content, whilst also incorporating much of John Williams' from Film 1.
We good.
Something that the Jurassic World movies just failed to do properly, in my opinion. Some of the music in this does feel a bit like it's made for TV, but the theme is a bit reminiscent of the Land Before Time sequels, which is not a bad thing. The instrumentation is really nice, with a combination of a lot of woodwind and the more classical orchestral fanfares made of strings and brass undertones. There's lots of slow, methodical pieces which help accentuate the scenes, until suddenly breaking into dramatic moments for surprise action. The Spinosaurus, like the raptors in the other movies, and this one, gets its own theme. A riff on the original raptor theme, which uses the same notes and structure, just in a different order. It's pretty menacing, turning up quite regularly throughout the story, and even in the opening track. As mentioned, the raptor theme from Williams' score in the previous two movies makes a reappearance, which is nice to hear for a final time. It's very odd that Jurassic World never utilised it. Also, the same.
That's because the raptors weren't really, like...
3 also appear frequently in this score too.
Like, Jurassic World... Yeah, it had the Atrociraptors, but those weren't, like...
The Kirby's have a nice
Raptors.
theme, which swells through perhaps the best version when the group reunite by the fence. But also with Eric Grant. It's a beautiful theme and it easily fits with John Williams' music. There's not much distinction between Don Davis' themes, so they go together well. The music, which includes John Williams' Jurassic Park themes, features a slightly shorter main theme. I'll give an example. This is the original theme, which can be heard multiple times throughout Jurassic Park and the Lost World Jurassic Park end credits. And this is the version which plays in Jurassic Park 3, originally done by Williams but recomposed by Don Davis.
Ah!
This definitely highlights how quick this movie is to get going, with not even time to showcase the full track, which again is fine, just an interesting detail. I definitely recommend giving the soundtrack a listen again if you haven't recently. It's very good stuff. Another very important aspect of this film is the use of sound effects. Naturally you get a lot of jungle sounds which are very familiar, and some of which definitely carry over from the other films. But we also get treated with so many great sounds from dinosaurs and technology too. I'm talking about the satellite phone, of course.
There we go.
There's also one of the odder inclusions to the overall ambience. Jungle movies always do this by adding sounds of animals that aren't found in the environments. Gibbons in the case of Jurassic Park 3, and kookaburras in the case of The Lost World.
Which, by the way, is a scientific impossibility. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle, whatever you study, also changed.
I think it's just any sounds they can get hold of, but it does break the continuity a bit. The dinosaur sounds are all fantastically unique in this film. Obviously the species that appear in the others keep their own sound effects, and are expanded upon, but the new species all get treated with such brilliant and iconic sounds. Mainly the Spinosaurus and Raptors, if I'm honest. I already mentioned how the Spinosaurus were always absent from much material outside this movie for some reason, but in this film at least we get to hear it.
Because they realized it was a terrible idea.
Moving on to the Raptors then, their calls are one of the most iconic things to come out of Jurassic Park, and have inspired many other sounds like that in other movies and TV shows. These sounds are reused from this film naturally, since they're dealing with more or less the same animal, and those sounds are great, but what I want to talk about are the sounds unique to this particular variant. They have such a distinctive tone and voice to them. One of my all-time favourite sounds ever is this.
That is honestly a very good sound. It's creepy as hell.
I could listen to that all day. It's so good.
He couldn't,
Their
you
vocal
liar.
range, of course, plays into their intelligence in this movie, and I love that.
Huh.
The practical effects are back in
because
full force
that's
again,
why.
which is lovely to see. There's no point on an over-reliance on CGI if you can make convincing real-life puppets and animatronics. Something that Walking With, Prehistoric Park and Primeval took full advantage of.
Yeah.
Stan Winston's practical dinosaurs are a thing of beauty.
And a
Guess
thing of
most
the
them are
past,
inaccurate
sadly.
Nowadays.
It really sucks that they've moved away from more practical effects. Because they look so good. They're just good. But I'll be right back. I have to do the pee.
But you can still appreciate them for their design. The best dinosaur designs in movies. By the time Jurassic World came along, it was obvious that none of them were meant to be accurate. Instead, just keeping in the style of what
Anyway, we're back.
Grant puts it well.
I'm not a big fan of the gold,
theme park monsters,
so I'm just going to do this one.
more and nothing less.
They're movie monsters, they're not real dinosaurs. The CGI, of course, is also very much present, and looks as good as ever. Once again, it matches perfectly with the practical effects too, and I say it still holds up to this day.
Ooh.
Jurassic Park 3 almost feels like a spin-off to the franchise, whereas the original and The Lost World were both followed on from each other, with progressive narratives and characters. Joe Johnston apparently never had a clear concept of what this movie was going to do, other than being more standalone, and yeah, it does feel more like that. This one, whilst following on from the other movies by default, ultimately doesn't add much to the overall story, unless you count all the stuff going on behind the scenes, such as the illegal cloning of new dinosaur species by Dr. Wu, including Spinosaurus, Ceratosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Corythosaurus. All of these species are being cloned during some time or after The Lost World takes place, which is why none of them appear there.
So
Also, it's set on a
+2
completely separate part of the island. There is that smashed window on the car which Grant looks into briefly before the embryonics lab, which is a clear homage to the raptor trying to get into the car in the worker village in The Lost World. And for many years I used to think that was the same place, but it definitely isn't. Grant also mentions the San Diego incident during his fossil talk, which is nice that it's acknowledged in the wider
just gonna do
canon,
18.
in this movie anyway.
A bit too grindy in that last one.
He's so
Too
over it, he
tanky.
just wants to focus
Or
on
the
his
enemies were a bit too
paleontology.
tanky.
No force on earth or heaven could get me on that island.
Yes. What about hell?
Except money!
It's nice that each film has a different method of getting to their respective islands. First film was a helicopter, second a boat, and third a plane. Nice balance of vehicles. Like the original film, this one was filmed in Hawaii, and the dense steamy jungle atmosphere is brilliant to see. A much more primordial and primeval looking environment, which works well for an abandoned dinosaur island. A lot of it was also filmed in the studio with a mock jungle, which looks incredibly convincing. Like the other movies, there are a lot of deleted or alternate scenes in this one, many of which have never been released publicly, and I've talked about how the T-Rex vs Spino fight was originally with more practical effects, but changed later on. Well, I'll mention some more notable ones here as well. Udesky's death was much longer initially, with him standing up to the raptors before being taken down. Grant was also going to have a motorbike chase with the raptors, which ultimately got used for Owen and his squad in Jurassic World. It would certainly be quite amusing to see Grant do that though, complete with his fedora, Indiana Jones style. Billy's death was originally going to happen in a birdcage, but was removed for a more favourable, happy ending in the movie. Chronosaurus was a species that could have made an appearance in an earlier draft of the movie, but all of this was removed. A deleted or unused concept for a scene here would have had a pack of raptors attack and kill the Spinosaurus near the end, which would have ultimately solved why we don't see the Spinosaurus again. But I think there are enough action sequences in this movie already. That would have also made the raptors perhaps a bit too overpowered. Another version of the ending would have had the pteranodons attack the rescue helicopters, but all this was scrapped for a much more abrupt ending. Even something as simple as the Kirby's
It was pretty abrupt. Like, it felt like it kind of came out of nowhere.
Jeff Goldblum
Like, just,
was
oh,
also originally
we're all
going
done.
to reprise his role as the chaotic Dr. Ian Malcolm, but he suffered a leg injury and subsequently dropped out. But wouldn't it have been so cool to see Grant and Malcolm on screen together again? Something we had to wait until 2022 for, which was a disappointment anyway.
Wait. Oh, Dominion.
That is one big pile of shit.
How the fuck? Nah, your opinion is nothing. Your opinion means nothing. You think Dominion is a piece of shit, but you think 3 is good? Oh, no, absolutely
So
not.
listen to Dr. Grant.
Well, what's the good of hiring an expert if we're not going to use his advice?
Okay, obviously this movie isn't perfect, and lacks a lot of structure, but this is mainly due to the fact that this movie famously had a very troubled production, with so many drafts and redrafts of the script. The making of, which you can find on the DVD,
No,
is
this guy's
definitely
an
biased
idiot.
towards the movie being positive, obviously, with none of the cast or crew really
Definitely one of those
mentioning production
one of those
problems.
people
So it's not
that
worth the
thinks
depth
that
of information, but still
liking
worth
bad media
watching.
makes
The earliest
him
script was about a group of
smart.
teenagers that got marooned on the island.
Yeah, this is a very good show. Very, very good. Alright, let's go close that
How
one.
many of you think you can beat a dinosaur? For those of you who said you
Got
can't,
a bunch of
good on you.
Jurassic
There's
Park, and then
actually
I've
a fair
got
amount you could
basically
Finally.
Jurassic Park.
Anti.
Then I've got the financial audit. This guy, I just got into him a couple days ago, and he's actually really funny. I like whenever he goes off. This one I'm not too sure of. I hope it's still financial, and he's not just being a dick.
During the first lunch period.
And then I got some Internet City, because you know, you boys, Internet City, really, really good. Anyway.
beat in a fight. And for the rest of you who say they can't, come on man, where's the self-confidence? Also, you'll live much longer than the folks who said they could. As much as mainstream media depicts dinosaurs,
this is one of the best, because
eat or kill anything inside.
Basically the sword generates barrier as you're hitting it. Teal ink makes you generate barrier as you're hitting things. So generating barrier while you're generating barrier, making you generate mana. Then you spend that mana to use your spender, and if you have the teal ink as part of it, it starts generating barrier. Therefore, your spending mana gets you mana. So it's really good.
Right? Chances are that they won't go through such great lengths to end your life. But Jurassic Park is mainstream media, so these dinosaurs will 100% go through the trouble to ensure you're 6 feet under. In this video, we'll be seeing just how well you would fare against some of the most dangerous theropods in Jurassic Park. This video is specifically
spoiler
the
alert.
dinosaurs from Jurassic
Not
Park
good.
or the Lost World, so no dinosaurs from Jurassic World
Yay,
will be discussed
skating.
here. I'll do a separate video for that. Before we put you up against these bioengineered hellspawn, we gotta see your stats. In this simulation, you're gonna be a fairly fit person, with a weight between 180 and
true
200
fantasy.
pounds, a top speed of 22 miles per hour, and enough strength to deadlift 450 pounds. If you don't actually have these stats in real life, you're probably high-fiving yourself, but even with these impressive stats, you'll find surviving against InGen's most unstable creations more challenging than you expected. One final thing before we start the video. If you're new here and are into anything dinosaur or animal related in general, you're in the right place. I even take some subscriber suggestions into account and turn them into videos, so leave yours in the comment and hit that subscribe button. You could always unsubscribe if it's not for you. With the riff-raff out of the way, let's see just how well you'd fare against some of Jurassic Park's most dangerous theropods.
You're dead.
Starting off strong, we have the T-Rex of the franchise.
If you have flares, you
more
might be able to
specifically
survive.
Rexy, because they were 7 made. In this analysis, we will be using Rexy as she was in Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World, so she's around 7 tons here compared to her 9-ton weight in Dominion. You might think this is a good thing, but it's actually a worse circumstance for you as a human. Rexy was the only Rex moved to Nublar and is basically the face of Jurassic Park. She has some iconic scenes like the raptor fight and the enclosure breakout. Coincidentally, this is where you come in. Yes, you, watching this video with poor posture.
Actually, very interesting fact. The original theatrical release for Jurassic Park featured a scene of Rexy breaking into the visitor center before she attacks the raptors. They cut that out of the VHS release because they weren't a fan of it. They felt like it took away from the heroic intervention. And they never released it in any capacity, and I hate it. I hate it so much. Even when they did the limited run of Jurassic Park in theaters, I think this was like 10 years ago that they did this. They didn't put that version, and I want to see it so bad. It's probably like a 10-second scene or something, but I want to see it because it exists.
Sure, straighten your back.
Anyway.
You'll be on the main road right to the edge of Rexy's enclosure where Grant and the kids were. Only you'll be alone this time. Rexy comes out of her enclosure while you're walking down the road, but before you can make a run for it, she's already locked onto you. One of 3 things will more than likely happen in this moment. The first scenario is one where you have no knowledge of the dinosaurs on the park and immediately decide to make a run for it down the road. Remember when I told you it's much worse for a human when she's at her smaller size? In Jurassic World, she's gotten older and heavier. She can't even outrun a fit person. Whereas in Jurassic Park, she can keep up with a Jeep moving more than 35 miles per hour. I'm sure you can see how this won't play out in your favor. Even with your body pumping out copious amounts of adrenaline as your flight response kicks in, the top speed you'd reach in this state is around 30 miles per hour. Rexy can run faster than that, but slightly. Even if your brain tells you can continue running, after some time the rest of your body will start to fail, as the lactic acid starts to build up in your muscles and you collapse. At this stage, the best thing you could hope for is a bite to the head to end it quickly. Other than that, you'll experience at least 2 to 5 seconds of pain as her jaws crush every bone in your body. So in this scenario, yeah, you're gonna die. In the next scenario, you know a bit about the dinosaurs on the island and you stay absolutely still. It's stated by Grant that Ingen's T-Rexes can't process you if you remain completely still. Here your odds are better than the first option, but still not great. This will be sort of a standoff for a while, as the Tyrannosaurus ponders what's in front of her and you try your very best not to shit yourself. There is a good chance that Rexy may inch up a bit closer to get a better look, but at that point 99% of you will lose your nerve and run. I don't care how much of you think you can keep your cool. Saying you could behind the screen is different from the real thing.
Yeah.
For the 1% of you
You'd
who
be
keep still,
shitting yourself in
chances are that
fear.
you will start to lose interest after a while and get distracted by something else. But there's also a chance where you make sudden movements like a nervous itch or something and then you get eaten. So you have about a 45 to 50% survival rate in this scene. In the last scenario you do what you did in the first, but instead of running down the road, you make a break for it in the jungle or hell, even her enclosure. Here's why I think it's your best chance. Rexy is powerful enough to burst through a large dead tree, but even she couldn't continuously do it over and over. Our greatest asset is our size and agility. You will start running through the dense vegetation and foliage, while occasionally switching direction to throw her off track. It's like when you see a cockroach in your house and you start chasing it with a broom. But God forbid you take your eye off of it for 2 seconds and it disappears. Well, it's the same here. With the trees closely packed together and all the vegetation covering the jungle floor, it's fairly easy for Rexy to lose track of your location after running for a while. There's a chance she could smell you out, but you'll already be moving towards the research center or the dock after you call for help on your phone. That's right, you didn't expect me to put Gen Z in here without a phone, did you? Anyway, this time your survival rate bumps up to around 65%. The other 35 is the off chance that you fall down after you tripped on a root or something. Or you are running in a more open area and she just catches you. You all may have the same physical stats, but each of you still have your own individual personality and mannerisms. And knowing what most of you would do, your chances of surviving this interaction is 40%. 40% is a bad score. It's enough to get most of you put out if your report card says it, but the next dinosaur drops that percentage down even more. Before you start calling me a liar, the Carnotaurus isn't exclusive to Jurassic World. They are also featured in Michael Crichton's novels, which are about Jurassic Park.
And those ones,
are smaller than the ones in Jurassic World,
camouflage.
But this size decrease once again works
not just
against
normal
us.
camouflage
The
either.
novel Carnotaurs are around 20 feet long and 8 feet tall and can run more than 35 miles per hour. The simple reason for this is their camouflage. If you thought the Indominus had impressive skills when it came to blending into their surroundings,
the Carnotaur
wait
in the
until
book
you
can
hear
turn
what these Carnos
invisible.
can do. These guys have the ability to change their pattern to match a chain link fence, a tree, hell, even a brick wall. And at night, this camouflage makes them almost indistinguishable from the surroundings they blend into. Even if you're looking directly at it, chances are that you won't know it's right there. This time you'll be in the same area Dr. Thorne was in when the Carnos cornered him. If it's at night, your chances of getting off the island are almost zero. They're heavier than the average grizzly and fast enough to catch you easily. However, if it is the day and you hear low rumbling noises and you just get a glimpse of that fence that looks a bit distorted, you may have a chance of sprinting to the shed and waiting it out in there before it can get you. The thing about these animals is that once they know their cover is blown and there is a distance away, they will probably cancel the attack. They are ambush predators, and even though they could outrun you, the trouble of chasing you down after you saw them from a decent distance is probably not worth it. If you're in the shed, there's a chance that you can wait it out and hope the animal loses interest and leaves the area. But what's more than likely to happen is the animal waiting around the general area and staying camouflaged in an area you probably won't see it, at which point it will charge and maul you before you can get 5 steps in. The reason I put you in an area with a shed is because your chances of surviving even if you see the animal in a jungle is less than 1%. With a shed that goes up to around 20, since there is a chance the Carno will leave that area after a while. Just to ensure you have a better chance, I'll give you a flashlight. If it's night and you shine a flashlight at one of these things, it irritates them. Once you stay in the shed and continue turning the flashlight on and off, it will more than likely leave you alone, because it has to continuously change patterns when you do this. It worked when Ellie did it in the novel, and this saved the Dr. Thorne. So without a flashlight in the open, less than a 5% survival rate. Without one in the shed, that rises to about 20. And if you happen to have a flashlight and hide out in the shed, you have a 40% chance of leaving Thorne alive after the animal goes away. To put it bluntly, you probably just aren't surviving if you were to be in the open with this thing like Rexy. So I tried to give you a little advantage by putting a flashlight in your pocket, because no tree dodging and hiding is going to save you from this one. With some good news, the next dinosaurs you interact with have a good chance of being obliterated by you despite what the movie says.
What just happened?
This one is going to be short because it's pretty straightforward. The compies are the smallest creations of InGen and are almost always seen in packs of 10 or more. Let's be honest, if it's just one on one, you got to kick the thing into the shadow realm, so I'll put you up against a group the same size as the one.
Oh, no wonder it died. Jesus.
Was probably the most
That's what that number was.
Well, to be honest, I could have understood a little girl, but a healthy man weighing over 200 pounds should not have been brought down that easily. In reality, these animals likely wouldn't come for you unless you show any signs of weakness or injury. But if they are dead set on having you for lunch, buckle up, you're gonna play whack-a-mole on hard difficulty. Without going too deep into it, the chances of survival amongst even the dumbest of you is around 50%. This is for the people who will continuously kick and try to chase the animal down while tiring themselves out, at which point they will start to barrage you, and for those that can't keep them off long enough, they will die from blood loss from a million cuts. Now for the rest of you with some sort of logical thinking, instead of trying to rip them off your skin, you'll start to crush them with your hands. These guys are like what, 8 or 10 pounds? And with your stats you have more than enough strength to pop them like a balloon. It would be like crushing a medium-sized chicken, or you know what, never mind. And instead of just laying there on your back trying to fight them off, you'll just roll over them. 200 pounds on their fragile bodies on a hard surface is enough to cripple them at the very least, and get them to let go, at which point they'll decide you're not worth the risk. You have an 80% chance of making it out and still bleeding, unless you take too long to get them off, and you bleed out. However, if it's the novel compies, once you get bitten by a few of them, it's pretty much game over. The novel versions have a Vellum that acts like a sedative, preventing the prey from struggling, and they just eat the animal alive.
Basically, John Hammond.
How Hammond died in novels after he twisted his ankle. You're a lot fitter than the old billionaire.
Except he didn't actually die because he lived and showed up in the second book. Again, but it's heavily implied that he died.
Get a few bites in, you're pretty much done, unless you somehow eliminate the entire pack before the effects of the venom kicks in. The only other way I see you surviving is climbing a tree and waiting it out, because they can outrun you. So against normal compies, most of you have like a 75 to 80% chance of surviving, and against the novel versions, that drops to below 30. Hold on a minute, don't get too excited about your high survival rates. That'll quickly drop once you meet the dinosaur that's the embodiment of hatred. If hate was a dinosaur, it would be the Spinosaurus, an illegal project carried out by Wu and InGen. He was constantly abused and tested on as a juvenile, and after all of that, he was abandoned on the island without even being let out. Like this guy said, the Spinosaurus hates people. Like Rexy, we will be using his proportions in Jurassic Park 3, not Camp Cretaceous. Although this one doesn't really matter because he's an absolute menace to mankind in both. This time we'll put you on the airstrip, where he made his first human kill. Unlike all the other dinosaurs you've been up against so far, there isn't really any tricks or gimmicks that can throw you off this one. This time he tracks you down, and like all big dinosaurs in this franchise, he will roar to announce his presence. At this point, almost all of you will make a break for it. Statistically, there is like 5 or 10% of you who will freeze due to fear. Those people will immediately get knocked off the list. The rest of you actually have one advantage over Spiny that you didn't have with the rest of the theropods, and that's your speed. Your base top speed is 22 miles per hour, but with the adrenaline kicking in, it should bump that up to 30 miles per hour in extreme conditions, while the Spinosaurus has a top speed of 27 miles per hour. The good news is that you'll get a head start. The bad news is that your body will start to fail after a certain distance. On the open plain, your chance of surviving is less than 10%. Luckily for you, Soren is made up almost completely of forest, so there's actually a good chance that you'll lose him in the dense vegetation. But that's only temporary. No other dinosaur can track people down better than this one. His hatred allowed him to track Grant and the others at every step of the way.
Interesting.
No matter where they went,
I did not know that it had a backstory like this.
The only reason it eventually gave up its hunt for the movie cast was because of the all-fire that acted as a
barrier breaks,
but you won't have that luxury, and you don't have any reason to be in that
thing's just going to die,
because it just increases your chances of getting off due to the animal being semi-aquatic. Even with an entire island to hide and increase the distance between you, eventually it will find you, and during one of those interactions, it will get you. Eric got a lucky break because he already knew a lot about dinosaurs, which most of you watching probably do. But even then, Eric just scraped by because of the overturned truck as a shelter.
Why am I going up in the air? This is some bullshit.
This animal will more than likely track you down before you can safely leave. Realistically, based on how well the Spinosaurus is able to track people and his blatant hatred for them, you have about a 30% chance of evading this animal on the entire island before help eventually comes and picks you up. On top of that, if it's just one rescue helicopter, there's no guarantee that this guy won't come and destroy that like he did the plane, and get a few more kills. I may be giving you a low survivability rate despite the island being so large, but again, this thing can
plot armor is the only thing that saved the people in Jurassic Park 3.
You guys can let me know
from
if
this
the percentage of
absolute
surviving
monster.
should be higher.
Which the
Alright,
Spinosaurus
next up
has never
the
been my
second
problem
mascot
with
to
3.
Rexy. There's different raptors in Jurassic Park, but I think the most dangerous and intelligent of these versions are the ones from Jurassic Park 3. These variants set traps for people, such as laying in wait, and even setting bait for people. They have a lot of power to back up their intelligence too. The raptors on Sorna weigh between 300 and 330 pounds, and have razor sharp teeth and claws to tear you open. I'm not gonna put you in a hiding place or anything to try and give you an advantage. Like all the other ones, we will be in some sort of direct contact with the animal. Forget outrunning it. Even if you have a good head start, these raptors will close the distance easily. Even as I'm saying this, almost all of you will turn tail and run. But for those of us planning on holding our ground, we honestly don't have it much better. These animals can quickly topple you over, and we've seen just how easily it can paralyze a human with its large toe claws. It knew exactly where to strike to stop the target from moving without killing it. So I'm pretty sure it knows where to strike if it wants you dead. At this point, you can't give a futile attempt at fighting back, but you'll just be torn apart. If you grab its mouth, it's gonna use its claws, and if you grab its arms, it's gonna use its mouth. You may think for this one your chance of survival is 0, but actually you do have some sort of a chance, but that's for the lucky few of you. There have been cases of people fighting off a 500-pound grizzly bear without a weapon and surviving. There was even an instance of a man killing a leopard with his bare hands to save his daughter. Leopards are known man-eaters that have more than enough strength to overpower and kill an adult. Yet this man was able to turn the tables to protect his family by strangling it. Am I comparing a real leopard to Sorna's raptors? No, not even slightly. I love big cats, but Ingen's creations would tear it apart. What I am saying is that statistically a few of you do actually have a chance of killing this thing. As dumb as this sounds, if you manage to put it in a headlock, you could render it unconscious. In all honesty, you'll be killed before you can get your hand around its neck, but for the few of you who do, you'll be torn and sliced up as the animal gasps for air. Once it's unconscious, you can just stomp it out while you make your call for help. And after that call for help, you'll still probably die before assistance can carry you off.
But take it with you.
Again,
take it with you is
people have survived a metal pole to their head,
what
their
is it?
stomach split open, etc, etc. So there is a chance a few of you will survive too.
Stop giving me blood.
For this dinosaur, your chances of surviving a head-on encounter is less than 5%.
Get behind it, choke it out, stomp its head in, make sure it dies before you do.
But that's for only one variant of it.
This is...
Last on the list is the Dilophosaurus. In the movie, this guy is the size of a golden retriever and could spit
in the
blinding
books.
Nedry was unfit and just plain stupid, to be honest. If I saw a giant field lizard looking at me, I'd throw a stick at him instead of further away. It's safe to say that most of us would survive this interaction. While I think most of you have the same top speed, taking into account you're in adrenaline mode, I don't think you need to outrun it. It's a curious animal, and once you yourself show that you're an aggressive and dangerous animal, it'll more than likely flee, and if it comes down to a fight, you can easily close the distance and grab it by its neck and sucker punch it to the face. Owen Grady easily overpowered one of these guys with one hand, and Jurassic World's versions are even bigger than the one in Jurassic Park. In this movie, this thing usually gives a big heads up before it spits. Its frill will open up and it will make a horrendous sound, the sound of a rattlesnake and a distressed chicken. At that point, you have 2 to 3 seconds to turn away, which is what most would do, but again, statistically, there is gonna be a few people who will just stare at it and wait for the venom to be shot into their eyes. But overall, I think I'll give you a survivability rate of around 90%. Good job. Oh, but what's this? It's the taxman coming to take off 80% from your original percentage. Welcome to life, where you don't really own anything. The reason for that takeoff is because you will now be put against the novel Dilophosaurus. This one is probably the most paleo-accurate dinosaur in the franchise, besides its venom. It's 23 feet long and 10 feet tall, and weighs more than 2 average African lions. Other than that, this guy can slice your belly open with one hand, and was able to lift a 300-pound man from his skull into the air with no effort whatsoever. It also seems to be malicious in some sense too, or at least that's how it seemed to me. It dragged on Nedry's suffering way too long, but instead did a lot of extra stuff before Nedry succumbed to blood loss.
What was that?
Not only are you up against a strong that you can't outrun, or at least that you can't outrun for long, you're also
what is going on? Why aren't I generating barriers?
There is really no other option. It may let you live a bit longer because it's inquisitive, and will just stare at you for a while, but soon it will just spit at you, as this one doesn't give a signal before it spits like the movie variant. All you can do is catch it quick enough before it can get into your eye by looking away. But by the time you turn around, your intestines will more than likely be hanging on the floor. Honestly, I can't really see a way you survive this one effectively. It's not as large and bulky as the mega theropods, so you can evade it in the trees, and it's not as small as the raptor, which you can have some chance of choking it out.
Oh,
Your
that's
best
what was
option
sending
is
me
to
up.
flee, and 8 or 9 times out of 10
But also,
it will
like,
catch you, because
stop
I think
generating
the movie version
barrier
can
for
run
a
up to
second
30
there.
miles per hour, while the novels can run 26.
That's why I don't like
Your adrenaline
illegible.
boost could give you enough of a head start, and you could eventually gap it to the point where the animal gives up. But that's if you don't collapse from exhaustion, and if you do collapse, expect the most slow and painful death you could ever receive from a dinosaur in this franchise. Well, except for one. So survivability against the novel Dilophosaurus is 3%. Yeah, it's bad. But for the few of you who win the race, congratulations. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you...
Basically, you fight a dinosaur, you're gonna die. Always. Okay, let's see. It's fucking Sloth Orca. I hate the D-Rex.
True purpose has been revealed.
It's
and it was
so
not
bad.
Made for Jurassic Park or Jurassic World. I know, completely wild, right? But don't worry, I'll explain everything because many people are completely confused by this entire revelation, and it's completely understandable because in the first trailer ever released for Jurassic World Rebirth, they say this.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
Now, doesn't that sound like an open-shut case? They say it was for the original Jurassic Park. Ergo, it must be, right? Well, several things don't seem to add up just looking at the trailer. I mean, at one point, we're in a convenience store and notice the packaging of these Doritos and all the snacks. In fact, they look untouched and extremely modern. That's because they are.
Well, you see, that's because... Props like these are never going to have the attention to detail that they should. Because these, I guarantee, are all just... They went out and bought a bunch. They're not gonna pay enough attention to be like, oh, this pack of chips did not exist in this time. Years ago, this kind of attention to detail was prevalent. Not anymore. It's just not gonna happen. Because nobody cares. Like, they don't care enough to, like, match products to times. Unless you're doing, like, something where it's, like, takes place in the 1920s or something like that. Then they're gonna do that sort of thing. But Jurassic World movies and shit like that, like... Basically, in reality, the degradation of the rest of this place does not match any of the chips, the dips that they got. There's not even any corrosion. There would have been corrosion on the Frito, the dip cans, because they're made of metal. There was no metal corrosion. There's no corrosion on the shelves themselves, even though they'd shown that there's water everywhere inside of it. But again, it's just because it doesn't matter. Like, in the grand scheme of things, no one's going to care about this except for niche internet people looking at it being like, well, this doesn't make sense. But those people are... They're giving the creators too much credit. The people who made Jurassic Park Rebirth are making it to make money. They're not making it to make a good movie. They're not making it to... like, be faithful to any kind of Jurassic Park legacy. They're making it to sell toys. They're making it to sell tickets. They're making it to sell. That's why that's why the family is in there. Like, you see the little family. The daughter is there only to meet the cute toy animal. Like, the small, cute animal that she names, I think it's Susan or something. She is there purely to facilitate that animal coming into existence. She's there to be like, oh, look how cute it is! And then you sell the toy. Other than that, she doesn't even need to be there. There's no point. There's nothing added. There's nothing added for that whole, like, little family. They could have just not existed, and the movie would have been the same. They literally never, like, the family never even touched any of the plot important things. Yes, at one point the girl, she flips a switch, gets them out of a caged area, but it doesn't matter. She just could have... That didn't even have to be a thing. But yeah. Anyway. That's my... Jurassic Park Rebirth is awful.
That Doritos logo you see on the packet there is the modern Doritos logo, which was changed from one of the original ones in 2013. So these Dorito
You're looking
packets
too much
are
into it, man.
after 2013. And I know you could literally say that this was a sponsorship segment, right? But that's silly. That completely breaks the immersion of this entire film. And
they don't care about immersion. It doesn't matter to them.
not only that, notice how the entire convenience store is basically brand new. I mean, if this had been left for several decades in a tropical...
It's because it's a quick set, basically. I guarantee you that this convenience store has been in more than one movie. It's a quick set. Hollywood uses them all the time. They're basically a vignette.
Climate, this store would be completely destroyed. Mold, destruction caused by the tropical storms. I mean, look at the time period from Jurassic Park to the Lost World Jurassic Park. That was what, 4 years? Look at the difference and destruction there. I mean,
sorry, I
totally
understand.
when they come into the worker village in the Lost
You're
World.
hopeful,
that was only 4
but...
years. So this facility was meant for the original Jurassic Park, pre-1993. The film is actually set in 2027. That is nearly, what, 30 plus years? It doesn't look like that to me. And I know you're probably thinking, what has this got to do with the D-Rex? Well, absolutely everything. But let me continue to explain, because you need all this backstory. You see, it's worth pointing out this convenience store segment came from the second trailer released. And in that second trailer, it gets even more confusing, because they say this right here.
The theme park owners did experimental work.
Notice how she says theme park owners, not Jurassic Park anymore. But theme park owners? And experimental work? Now, Jurassic Park leads us to believe there was only ever one owner, and that was John Hammond. He owned the entire thing. He owned InGen. But we know from Jurassic World that Masrani Global, a company, was the owner of the park there. Ergo, multiple owners. And in a nutshell, in 1993, one owner, and from 2005 onwards, multiple owners. Ergo, this second trailer is talking about the theme park owners.
They're not thinking about that hard, I guarantee you.
The Jurassic World owners had done experimental work. And immediately your thought goes to, well, obviously the D-Rex. They were making the D-Rex before they made Indominus, before Scorpius Rex. This was their first attempt at a hybrid, right? Well, believe it or not, no. D-Rex wasn't created to go into either park. I'll explain more on that later, but initially this island was set up for Jurassic Park.
That's the entire point of the video.
And then went on to Jurassic World. You see, Hammond had set this island up as Site 0. Isla Nublar was Site A, Isla Sorna was Site B. Essentially, this first island the cast are going to in Rebirth is the first island, Site 0. This explains some of the old InGen site equipment we see. You see, John Hammond had set this island up initially to clone the original dinosaurs before they perfected the genomes for Park. This is why we see like Dilophosaurus is there, T-Rex is there. They were all experimenting with the dinosaurs there first before Jurassic Park and Site B. Obviously, when InGen falls, they abandon the island, leaving these experimental T-Rexes, Dilophosaurus, Titanosaurus, and every other dinosaur we see on that island. This then explains why in the first trailer they say for Jurassic Park. That is partly true. And then in the second trailer they say world, kind of. Because again, that is partly true. You see, InGen is bought out by Masrani Global in 1998. This would explain why the dinosaurs were also abandoned after the fall of InGen. Once Masrani Global bought out InGen, they got all their rights, all their documents, and all their islands. This is where they learned of this initial first island and their experimental cloning technology. However, Masrani Global didn't need an experimental lab. They already knew about cloning dinosaurs. They had Isla Nublar, Isla Sorna. They were rebuilding the park into Jurassic World. They didn't need this lab, but let's not forget, Masrani Global had a weapons division. You know, that horrible subdivision
this is one of the ones
Vic
where it's just
Hoskins
impossible.
the one who wants to use the Indominus Rex as a test subject. Remember that
basically
division?
up there
the one
is
Masrani
where the
didn't even know about
secret is.
himself. I mean, Masrani just signs things off anyway. He didn't even know about Henry Wu and what he was creating. So it's highly likely that Masrani Global signed off an experimental weapons division on this secret island and totally forgot about it. And this is where things start to get extremely interesting, and we move into the D-Rex's creation. You see, Empire Magazine did a spread on Jurassic World Rebirth, and they said that the lab was still active 17 years before the events of the film. The film takes place in 2027. 17 years before that is 2010. And they say the lab is still active. 2010 is when Jurassic World is open, and has been open for 4 years. I believe Jurassic World opens in 2005, 2006, meaning Jurassic World had already opened. They'd already cloned all the dinosaurs in their initial labs on Sona and Nublar. This other facility, which is up and running, the one with the D-Rex, is something else. You see, it initially got abandoned after 1993 and John Hammond's era. This then explains why the dinosaurs such as the T-Rex, the Dilophosaurus, the legacy dinosaurs were left abandoned on that island. Otherwise, surely, wouldn't they have just taken them to Jurassic Park or Jurassic World? No, after the collapse, they were just left there, abandoned. After 5 years though, however, Masrani Global and their InGen subdivision decide to bring it back online circa 2000. Now I know, immediately thinking, oh well, they brought this back online to experiment with the hybrids. Well, that isn't correct. We know they experimented with hybrid technology on Isla Nublar. They created the Scorpius Rex, pre the Indominus. They didn't need a separate island for this. They needed this separate island because what they were going to do on this island was highly illegal. And this is where we cue the Distortus Rex. Notice something off about the lab scene we see in the trailer? They're all wearing huge hazmat suits. At no point in Jurassic Park do we see this ever happen. They're not wearing suits when they're cloning dinosaurs there. In Jurassic World, we never see them wear suits when they're cloning the dinosaurs there either.
You see a guy wearing a hazmat suit when he's
like this is
manipulating the
infection.
GN.
Look at it logically. They're also keeping this Distortus Rex in a hugely highly contained, double-doored pen where they wear hazmat suits into. Then you think the plot of Jurassic World Rebirth is about getting dinosaur DNA to cure some type of disease. I mean, they literally say in the trailer, the doctor guy says, we'll save millions of lives. I have a sneaky suspicion that the dinosaurs we'd seen in Dominion, which went out into the world, etc., had spread some type of virus. A virus which was spread through dinosaurs.
That was actually
and
originally the
on this island.
Like
this
plot
explains
to
all the
the
scientists
Jurassic
in
Park
hazmat suits,
sequel.
the Distortus Rex, why it mutated, and why didn't they just put it out of its misery to start
Basically,
with?
there
they
was
weren't keeping it to put it in a park. They didn't put
So
it.
there was a failed Jurassic Park sequel that was being written that had a bunch of mutant, like, human hybrid dinosaurs, like human dinosaur hybrids that were just ugly and disgusting. And the concept of it was that this disease had come out and been spread by the dinosaurs. And just, it never succeeded, and I'm kind of glad it didn't, because some of the, like, pre-production, like, designs for the dinosaurs were really bad.
In a park,
but
they were keeping it for another reason. Obviously they were experimenting on it, but it had some type of virus/disease. This also explains why in the trailer they say it's guarded by the government and no one goes there anymore. That's because it's a quarantine zone. It's literally under quarantine. That explains why no one's been back. They literally abandoned the lab in 2010 when Masrani Global and Jurassic Park was still open. They didn't decide to continue their hybrid experimentation there because it wasn't hybrid experimentation. They were already doing that on Nublar with the Scorpius Rex, the Indominus Rex, hell, all the other canon hybrids which we literally see in the movie. Stegoceratops, I believe. No, this initial island wasn't for the original park. Wasn't for Jurassic World and its hybrids. It was for the weapons division of InGen, the subdivision of Masrani Global, where they were creating monsters in anticipation to sell illegally. But in doing so, had created some type of pathogen, which later escaped out into the world when dinosaurs escaped into the world. Hence why now, for some reason, they're coming back to get DNA from these dinosaurs, only found, may I add, on this island with pathogen or virus, whatever we're going to call it, originated from. Does all that seem a bit of a coincidence? You see where I'm going with this? This explains why Masrani Global themselves never went back to this island to exterminate all the other dinosaurs. They couldn't risk exposing themselves to this virus. They thought, let's just abandon it, leave it there, no one will ever know. That is, until the fall of Jurassic World and Masrani Global went under because of it. The island then is lost to time, but obviously still guarded by the government. government because they know of this outbreak/disease. This explains why Duncan in the trailer says it's guarded by the government. The government wouldn't just guard dinosaurs, they were out in our world for God knows how long in Dominion. They've been guarding the dinosaurs then, they're guarding the island because it's a source of an outbreak, and they're trying to keep this all under wraps. And I believe this is the hidden plot we're going to see in Rebirth. I mean, they're not going to tell us it all in the trailer. I think this guy, or one of the guys in the team, are going to be quite dodgy and allow ulterior motives to get his DNA for their bioweapons division. Hell, obviously they're going to use it to save lives because there's some type of outbreak in the world at this point. But there will obviously be another ulterior motive. Someone working for the company. Someone who wants this DNA to start
really
again.
Was
to start, who knows, another
just
type
a very
of
bad
weapons
plot.
division. And here's a little bonus section. When they're in the convenience store, I decided to slow down time and look at the magazines on the shelf. Now, me and my infinite wisdom, I decided to reverse search or look back as far as I could to see if these magazines on the shelf matched anything from real life, to see if I could kind of get a date on when these were published and match it up to the film, right? Now, I couldn't seem to find anything on these magazines. I did read somewhere that the Time Traveler magazine was a magazine for the 18th anniversary of Back to the Future, which would have been around 2003, coincidentally, 2 years after the events of Jurassic Park 3. In the grand scheme of things, however, this really didn't impact the
I'm sorry, man. Alright, let's see this really sus title video. Like, I saw a couple. One was like this blonde chick who was just like the biggest spoiled brat of all time. Another one I saw, there was this like incel dude who would like, he was spending multiple thousands of dollars on strip clubs weekly, and
No, we're going
we'll see what it is.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Are we sure we're not just fleeing because we can't survive in the system because we haven't put in a single ounce to learn?
We can absolutely survive in this system.
This doesn't look like surviving in the system. This is a pile of debt.
I'm not in the belief that money should exist.
What are we doing here? You're not a little victim at everything. You have a little thing called f***ing doing sometimes.
We need 12 grand by September. That's when we're getting out of here.
Good thing we don't believe in money. Download my new simpler budget app today and take control of your money once and for all.
Hello, I'm Elliot. I'm 24 years old.
Hi, I'm Mateo. I'm also 24 years old. We're from Portland, Oregon.
And this is Financial Audit.
Up without realizing it.
Thanks for coming over from Portland. You look like you're from Portland. You got the full man bun really stuck in 2012 there.
He does my hair. He chooses what the hairstyle is.
Yeah, that was me.
It's really stuck in 2012 there.
Thank you.
We're starting a burger place with like metal chairs and stuff soon.
Big
What do
for
we
20
do
bucks.
for a living? Let's start with you.
I'm an auditor.
Who do you audit?
It's inventory at Intel warehouse.
Yeah, I work in the lab at Intel. I test the systems before we
By the way,
both at Intel?
Yeah, I got him a job at Intel.
Really? Okay.
Auditor means
what do you make?
I
Let's
look
start
at
there.
numbers and don't do anything.
I make.
Do you want me to answer this one?
Yeah.
Why?
I do the money in the relationship.
But you don't. You know what you make.
I make like $20 an hour.
He makes.
You don't even know your hourly.
No, not really.
Wait, well, how are you accepting a job? Trying
The
to negotiate
epitome
raises,
of
looking for a
privilege.
comparable or a competitor job? Trying
I
to get more
don't
money?
know what I
How are we
make
doing
per
that
hour
without
because I
knowing
don't
what
need to
we're
worry about
making
it
out of
because
the
I'm a
gate?
privileged old
Intel has to
bitch.
do good enough for us to even approach the
Yeah,
raises
I
topic.
can't even ask about a
Yeah,
raise.
but you can find there's other companies in Portland than Intel. Another job can be found. You need to know if you're getting paid competitively for your space, but you don't know that if you don't know what you're making. Okay. Fine. What is made?
He makes 19 an hour. I make 20.50 an hour.
You said 20. Okay. And yours is hourly what?
$20.50 an hour. As,
okay,
as
so we're really not that
contractors to
different.
Intel.
Now, how many hours a week are we working?
40, exactly.
Full time.
Okay. So what's hitting our account? Shared account?
We have joint finances.
You guys are
40.
married?
Yes, we're married.
How long has it been?
A few months.
Yeah.
We got married back in
this
December.
is fresh.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So what hits the account on a monthly basis?
About $4,800 a month after taxes. We get paid weekly.
4,800. I had 5,560. Was there overtime here and there?
If a month is like 5 weeks, then we get paid 5 times in the month.
Which it may have been at that time.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
may be
so
a holiday.
No, we don't get holiday pay.
Okay.
We get paid
You don't
on
even know
holidays. We get
No,
paid
we
on
do.
holidays, but there's no special pay adjustment.
Okay,
It's just
I see.
8 hours of
Yeah.
pay.
Okay, for what it's worth, you guys have been together for only 3 months, so would we know the
No,
entire
no, we've been together for longer than 3 months.
We've
didn't
been
start
married for-
Well,
yes.
how long have we combined our finances?
Since August of last year.
Okay, so some catching up. I am definitely allowing a part of grace of not knowing the household finances, but why are we just like putting it on one person's shoulders and the other one just doesn't care? Like, why are we doing it this way?
It's not so much not care, but me being involved in the money would be more of a burden, I think, for you than otherwise.
It's like doing a task yourself versus teaching someone how to do the task. It
That
takes
is a
longer.
terrible one.
It would take longer, but it would make sure that you're not the only one doing the task, and if you can't do the task in that moment, you can make sure the person that's also your equal in life can do the task.
He has access to all of the documents as well as all of the passwords for all of our accounts. So if I were to drop dead, he could hand it to like my dad and figure it out that
Also,
way.
maybe I'll.
He could hand it to my dad.
Yeah.
Is this a grown adult you're talking about? Holy
Well, it's
crap.
certainly not been in the plans. So.
Yeah, it
How long
hasn't
were we
been
together before?
We got married after a year of being together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's pretty quick.
So they're idiots.
And we were planning on getting married a lot later than that, but current events kind of
spurred things along.
Yeah, we were planning to get married in like September
of this year. Yeah.
Something happened in Portland that I'm not aware of?
No, not in Portland, just
in the nation. So we.
Are they deporting trans people?
No.
Well, not yet.
Wasn't
Wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't go
there's
there.
definitely been some executive orders that made it.
I mean, to
harder
be
for
fair,
the country
kind of
to
expected it
transfer.
based on the title.
Really? Tell me.
Because of it's
But
related to
I can
passports.
I'm still just
because of the executive
Come on,
order
man.
he signed about like there only being two genders. People
Okay.
with passports that have
a different gender marker.
gender marker on
That
it.
has
They
made you get
can't
married
renew.
quicker?
No, the getting married quicker part was because on November 5th when Trump was
nominated for to be president, we had to
we've
move up
read
our time.
Project 2025, and it's not good if they go through with that for us. So we
It
wanna
makes
make
living
sure
in
that-
America very difficult.
Is this
so
going to be a very political conversation?
Very much
A little
I'm
bit,
going
yeah.
in blind. Okay. I'm not going to give my opinion on anything. I'm just going to ask questions.
That's fine.
Because I want everyone and anyone from any walks of life, whether you are right or left, I don't care. Get your finances taken care of. Get your shit together. I don't give a. So I just ask questions. Okay. So you got spooked by the election. So
Yeah, we had
to get
plans
married?
to
We
leave for
wanted to-
Germany in 2026.
Germany.
Yeah.
You know they just elected their first right-wing government in the last like couple decades.
One of the right-wing parties is
Also, like the most
part of their government,
right
but
of the Western European countries, isn't it?
We were watching the elections
yeah.
because of that.
Besides
the-
Italy.
there's a lot going on.
The
in
rest
Europe.
of the parties in the coalition are like refusing to work with AFD, so there's hope there. But with
There's no hope of GDP growth.
well, yeah, we're
going for
politically a
different
little more
reasons.
scared here. But
Yeah.
the marriage
Has something
being
bad happened to you?
not to me specifically.
We're leaving for Germany for our like building future purposes.
So that's what we're talking about? I'm trying to get you guys to Germany?
Yes, yeah. Your job is
I'm
to,
going in blind here, y'all.
Yeah, your job is to fix our budget so that we have enough in the bank for when we leave for Germany. We're
And we
going
need-
so that
How much do you need to live in Germany? I've never calculated the need for living in Germany. They have more of a social safety net, but you guys wouldn't be citizens, so I don't know what you qualify for out of the gate.
We
for
need
getting a
$12,000.
visa. Yeah, we need
And Europe isn't very
12,000
pro-
euros. They don't-
12,000 euros,
They don't
yes.
use dollars.
Yeah.
over there.
Europe isn't very pro-immigration right now. I don't know if it's different.
So for
y'all
qualified
white,
individuals, they're very interested.
For
Germany's.
Portland, you guys are making kind of low, though. So what? Are you guys qualified individuals?
Yeah,
What do we consider qualified individuals?
I work in a technology position, and so
Yeah,
they
but
have an
on a lower-
expedited visa process for that.
What's your job again?
I fix up computer systems. I do some basic programming
Why
stuff.
do you get paid pretty low for the Portland area? Portland's expensive.
Because we're contractors.
Because we're contractors with Intel.
But there are contractors that do make a lot of money though. Sometimes.
If you're higher up.
Yeah.
But for most of the
24. I have to remember we're 24.
Yeah,
Okay.
24. I'm still finishing my degree, so.
Undergrad?
Yeah, undergrad, bachelor's.
How long have you been in?
I started college at 16, getting my 2-year, and then I had to wait for FAFSA to kick in because my parents were in that sweet spot where they made too much but not enough to help with college. So last year I finally hit old enough that FAFSA was like, sure, we'll give you money. And here I am finishing my 3rd and then 4th year next year.
Okay.
But
you? Qualified?
No.
Qualified via experience, maybe work experience.
Yeah, up until recently we were going with a different
It
plan.
sounds
for me
like you
because
two
I
have no real plan.
I have a chance with the derivative citizenship for Germany, but unfortunately that's like a 2-year process and we don't have time for that anymore.
Well,
so
okay. It's gonna
also Germany is probably not the best place to go. They
I
are.
actually love it. I love how they build their communities, as walkable communities, a lot of stuff like that. I feel like
There's a lot of good things about Germany, but
relatively decent chance getting there because there's been a massive drain.
They're still not
the
most forward of
because
people.
their economy is not keeping up across the board. Their wages aren't keeping up across the board.
Well,
Their
it's about to be the same here, so.
Their social safety nets are going dry. About the same here. We would have to drop like 40% to make up for the gains since 2009 that they've never been able to make. So
Oh yeah,
that would have to be
2009 when I was 9 years old. It was a great time to get into the stock market.
That is exactly what Europe's economy GDP is still, by the way, where it was in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where you're going. Okay.
Cost of living's also a lot lower though.
So what happens
And
when economies don't grow?
we'd be able to afford an education over there,
Yes.
which is kind of the most important thing.
With executive
getting
orders.
your degree though. Again, I like to make little European jokes. It's fine. You move there if you want. It's okay. I think I'm just saying it's probably easier to move there because a lot of qualified individuals have left Europe because they don't make as much there. It's harder to make ahead. Things are not going as well there economically. So it should be easier for you to go there is all I'm saying. So if you want to go there, I'm down to help people get to their goals regardless. Let's get you there.
I pay 17 grand a year for college right now.
Yeah.
And in Europe it is 12,000 per year for rent, groceries, cost of living items, and then also their tuition is incled in that 12,000 euros.
Dude, don't get me wrong. It's really nice when everything is subsidized. It feels really nice on the other end for the person that's going there. Whether or not that's sustainable since their economies aren't growing, who knows? So if your kids can get that, good for them.
I mean,
I don't know how that'll
work. We're not
work.
going permanently. We're going until I finish my degree, and then
gotta be
hopefully after the
something.
administration is over. if
Yeah,
it's
assuming
over.
things don't get worse.
Yeah, so assuming he doesn't go for that 3rd term, then we'll come back. I'll have my
I think that
degree.
would be constitutional, but
It's not, but that hasn't stopped him before.
Yeah, so far.
okay. I feel like you guys. Okay. Is this a very big life choice to make just from an election?
We had planned
Whether
it
or not
prior
I
to the
like
election.
who would have won either way, I don't base my entire life off of an election. I get you're in a more unique situation, but you're also in Portland. It's like the most...
Originally, the plan was he was going to get his derivative citizenship, and then tuition for him in Germany would be free. And
Tuition, is that the big focus? Is that are we really
wants
just using the
to-
whole election as an excuse
Not
to
the whole
do?
election. It's
It
more
really seems like we're
like
landing on this degree thing, which I'm again.
He
Let's get you to the goal.
He cannot effectively get a degree in America.
Why?
Unless it's free.
well, it's just
Well, that's kind of bullshit. I can go to Austin Community College right now and semester take like 8 credit hours for like a couple $1,000.
Yeah, the debt incurred is the issue here.
Yeah,
A couple that's already existing.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get into.
Well, why'd
that.
you get into debt?
I wouldn't really. Well, that's.
I feel like that was a choice, and sometimes we deal with the consequences of the choices that we
Definitely was. Hold on. Sorry. Are we moving on to the what?
Yeah,
what's
are we
our
getting
current
into why you
focus?
have student loans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we doing German?
I don't fucking know. I feel like I'm just along for the ride right now. I don't know what's happening. I want to get you guys to the goal. I like to make little cheeky comments about Europe. Listen, I'm not pro or anti-Europe. I don't care. They can do whatever they want. We can do whatever we want. I'm not pro or anti this last election. I don't give a I just want to invest and make money. That's what I like to do, and I want to get people out of debt. So, whatever. Doesn't matter to me. Let's get you to your goals. Let's talk about student loans. I know it's something we all want to avoid talking about, but if your private student loans are crushing you, Y-Refi might be exactly what you need. They don't rely on your credit score alone. They look for borrowers who have the desire
There's
and
the shill
ability
part.
to repay.
Which, I mean, it's a finance podcast.
Most
Of
lenders
course he's
only
gonna
see a
shill
number.
at some point.
Interest rates under 6% guaranteed. That's practically a unicorn in student lending. Plus, they offer structured payment plans to lower your monthly bill, and even a cosigner release program so your mom or dad can step off the hook. Y-Refi is known for personal service. No faceless call centers. You get a dedicated rep who actually cares about your progress. They've got a 4.6 star rating on Google, which tells you people genuinely like working with them. So if your private loans are burying you, it's time to reach out. Y-Refi wants to help you climb out of debt, not push you further in it. Check them out at yrefi.com/hammer. That is YREFY.com/hammer, or call 888 Y-Refi-78.
One of my criticisms of this.
78. Break free from the high interest trap and get your finances under
Why
control.
would they want to get you out of debt?
What does
Their
life
entire
look
business
like
model
today if our
is
big goal
based
is to
on
get
you
to
being
Germany,
in
which
debt.
probably isn't necessarily cheap because there is going to be moving. We're going to be trying to settle. Yep. Are you going to get accepted into their college programs before you move? Like,
Yes.
what's
So
the plan
for
here?
a German
what's that
visa,
process?
if you're going for a student visa, a university has to accept you into their program, and you apply to a degree
done that?
specifically. Yeah. I'm waiting on the application response.
And if we don't get it,
then we're going for work visas, and I will.
but then that negates the big college part.
It
which I
negates
thought
the
was
big
one of
college
big
part,
reasons.
but I'm going to online school right now, and so.
Also,
with
do
that,
you
can
see
do
why
it
I
from-
took
What do we
that
hate
health
about
thing?
community college? What's
Look
wrong
at my
with
health
going for a
right
couple thousand
now.
hours a semester?
Once you've got your 2-year.
No, I do have a quest to do some appendices.
No, I know, but for you.
Maybe I'll just do those this
for
time
me,
because
I don't think it's a good idea for me
No.
to continue doing college here in the States when it costs so much money.
A couple thousand a semester.
I
Not
went
if you're going to a
PCC
specialist school.
when I was much younger, and that was a disaster. So I would, if we
You
were going to
failed?
Germany, I flunked out. It was during
Is that the community college's fault, or
no, and it's
what's going to be different in Germany when you can't? Can you speak German?
Yes, he can.
But the
okay.
so yeah, a little bit.
The difference this time around is that he is now medicated for ADHD.
That also.
So that doesn't change going to community college now for a couple thousand. What?
The cost in Germany is going to be cheaper than if you were to go here. It's roughly
What did you say?
300 euros.
300 a semester?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought you gave me a different number.
No. I spend here today 17,000 a year.
Well, what did you say it would cost over there? With you said everything included.
Oh, yeah. So rent and groceries and all of that, the German government wants you to have 12,000 euros.
That's what they recommend so that you stay afloat.
Oh,
so you
sure.
don't. Yeah.
You
Rent
guys
for
are dual income household though. We can kind of support each other as we go through.
Yeah. So long as the education department remains solvent and FAFSA continues to exist.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, don't they recommend having more like 12,000 in savings?
Well, that's what it would be. It would be 12,000 in savings.
Oh, before going in?
Yes, before going in.
I assume if you're on the show, you would probably have immense debt, and the savings is okay. I'm still confused of the anti-community college thing because it's going to cost money to get over there.
Yeah.
And then there's also going to be likely a loss of potential income as well. Because again, usually when you get a lower cost of living area, you get lower income.
You make
That's
less
kind
of it.
How it works. I don't know if we know this or not, but does that not concern us?
Let's do some turning.
If we stayed in the States, I wouldn't be interested in going to college here. But if we went to...
Why?
Because of the cost, and because
Couple thousand a semester? Community college? What's wrong with that?
It's...
The median person in the United States makes like, what is it, like $50,000 a year? I think a couple of thousand a semester is worth the investment.
We already make close to that amount.
Well, you don't make the median household. That's for an individual.
I don't see the. I don't see. There's no incentive for me to go to college here because I don't feel like I could go the distance to get like the level of degree that I would want if I was going into college.
College in Germany also only takes 3 years instead of the 4 here, so it's less time
Is it
going
all
through
year?
the slog. It's most of the year.
Okay, so
There's
take
like-
summer semesters and make it 3 years then.
Well, and I could actually go into like I could go further
Okay,
than
what do you want to go
undergraduate.
into?
I'd like to do something
Ban that
with
piece of
like
shit.
languages or history. So
so we're not going
Oof.
with the intent to make money.
Okay. That's.
But I just realized I haven't eaten. I need to eat some food. Thank you all for watching. As always, have a great day. I love you.